Hello, and thank you for watching my video. My name is Mike the Mighty, and today I'm doing a review of the Mass Effect series and comparing it to those of you who play Guild Wars 2 and just, seeing what, is this a game that's actually worth playing? And I'm hoping that you'll appreciate this because this is something I feel, it's a game I feel is absolutely incredible. It's a game that I'd never played, until 2016. So I'd never played, Mass Effect came out almost, sort of 8 years ago. And I'd never played it. Never played Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, hadn't played Mass Effect 3. And I was showing people the other day, what I have games-wise. And I actually, purchased the Steam game, saw an offer on Steam for Mass Effect 1 and 2, took it up, and I thought, I'd seen some interesting reviews on Mass Effect. It's always got favourable reviews, and this is what I wanted to show you. So basically, this is Mass Effect 3. Now, one of the unique aspects about Mass Effect is basically you can import your characters. So you can see here, this is actually, I took a character, I created my own character, imported them in from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2, did the same from Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3, so you can keep your character through 3 games. I mean, that is phenomenal. And so we can actually I can actually go in, I'd rather not go in and show you straight up, but we can create a new game, and we'll go like with a male character. So you can just buy Mass Effect 3 if you wanted to. You can choose your different type of experience you want, more story, where you can customize your character, the role playing, which is what you actually do a lot of. And it does have a lot of similarities to Guild Wars 2 and, the Guild Wars franchise. You take over this character and you actually make decisions that can affect, not just your gameplay in, for example, Mass Effect 1, you can affect your gameplay in Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Your story steps, if you import your character, affects the gameplay down the line, which is absolutely incredible. It can even affect, how you progress, and how you actually get to the end of the gaming system. But, I'm going to talk about that when I do like a Let's Play of Mass Effect. When you look at Guild Wars, it's a typical MMO, and this obviously isn't. It's a third-person shooter. Sorry, you can, zoom in to sort of first person for certain guns. But you can see we'll click on here. We'll call this John Shepard, and we'll call this guy here. Just give him the default appearance and call him a soldier. So you can actually, much like you actually get, with professions, you can choose different things to go for, Vanguard, Infiltrator. It's just a different style how you actually fight. And so, I've actually played primarily as an Infiltrator, being able to stealth, actually kind of similar to the Thief in Guild Wars 2. Obviously, you've got the Soldier, which would be more like the Warrior, the Engineer. Oddly enough, would be the Engineer. So you do have gameplay and things like this that do have similarities in the Guild Wars universe. And you can also decide your different powers, sort of warp ammo, so you can actually, in the sense like, elementalists have the ability to do magic. You got an equivalent type thing here in in Mass Effect. So you can see here, you can choose what you want to, your backstory, and if I like sort of doing different characters, and the deaths of Cade and Alenko. You can see who, like, you actually have to pick a 50-50 choice. You in some certain situations you have to pick people who are going to die, and it can be an emotional time. And so here we go. So we've got enter there, and I want to give you an idea of the gameplay and to show you what my review is actually going to be like. I've had a phenomenal time playing this game. If you're wondering why I've not been doing many Guild Wars 2 YouTube videos, this is primarily one of the reasons. I've completed, I've spent the last week and a half playing the Mass Effect series to completion, and I've actually found it really and enjoyable. I think the graphics are pretty decent. You go back 9 years, look at the Guild Wars universe. The graphics for Mass Effect 1, they're not too, unsatisfactory. Same with Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3 is pretty solid. But, this series gets a lot of good feedback. The storytelling is very, very impressive. The cutscenes are impressive. You can spend hours. You have this option to do, like, side quests, which, again, very similar to Guild Wars. You can go off and do your own thing, and there is the option to be this good guy, or sort of a paragon is what they call it. Again, interesting reference for Guild Wars. Or you can be a renegade, which is the kind of badass sort of person that doesn't give no shit, and he just really rubs people up the wrong way. You can also have love interests, and an interesting aspect is that during the final cutscene of Mass Effect 3, dependent on who your love interest is, depends on the cutscene. The cutscene actually changes dependent on the decision you made for who your love interest will be. So again, lots of different interesting aspects of storytelling and decision making. And if we compare that to Guild Wars, when we look at like choosing our order, Order of the Whispers, Priory, or the Vigil, none of that really have much much impact on the end story. Your choices here do make impact on the whole overall arc, and in fact, basically, what you actually decide to do can give you different options, and it's interesting to see the different relationships you build up. For example, you actually get an option. Do you choose to kill one of your allies, or do you actually just let him live, but sort of can give grief? And if you kill him, you won't see him again. If you decide to keep him alive, then he actually, he might give you better bonuses later down the line. On the other hand, if you don't choose to kill somebody, they may come back and cause to give you more grief later down the line. So again, the decisions in this series really have been absolutely incredible in the fact that they actually have impact. And that's one of the things that, you can see here. You got choices of what you actually decide to say. And that is really interesting. Guild Wars doesn't have that really. You don't really have the option to change what you say, to change how you act. And after playing Mass Effect, I have come to appreciate, it will take a lot of effort. I can appreciate the amount of work that's gone in to coming up with different dialogue, different speech, different text, different lines of that they actually speak, different lines of speech. And I found it really, really enjoyable, I have to say. And, there's a lot of offers for Mass Effect series right now. You can actually go and get them. I spent, £35 actually on the 3 games. And I definitely recommend them. I would definitely vote this a 9 out of 10 game. This is a quality game. Now, for those of you who are unsure about, these action type games, again, if you take Guild Wars is technically a third person because you're obviously behind. The same kind of goes for this, and you are doing a lot of combat. The same for Guild Wars, you are doing a lot of combat. The difference is here, obviously, you're on your own. I can't say the same for multiplayer because I haven't really been involved with the multiplayer on Mass Effect because it's not as popular obviously as it once was because it's been out a while. But if you're looking for a game that will entertain you, this is a game that's really gonna have you just enjoying yourself. It's a fun game. It's a game that's really enjoyable. It's interesting. There isn't any downside. Okay, occasionally you might say there's a slight bug with the way the scenes jerk, but that's a very, very minor issue. I can't stress enough how much I enjoyed this game. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm actually going to be taking a character and going through and showing you, doing a Let's Play series. I'll do 1 episode a week, and we'll go through and we'll show you, and just to actually get an idea of the Mass Effect series and what can you expect and what can be the choices that you can make. And I'm hoping to encourage more people to actually play this. If you are waiting around and getting bored from Guild Wars for a while, this is a game that's really good to actually get involved with. And the reason I'll tell you that, I played this for, as I said, for 2 weeks, and then I've completed Mass Effect 3, and I'm actually going, okay, I've really enjoyed that. And then I'll come back into Guild Wars, and I've got, again, an appreciation for Guild Wars and actually getting the motivation to come back into the game. I hope this is enjoyable. I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you've played Mass Effect, if you didn't like the game, what was it that you didn't like the game, about? What if you did love the game? Were there certain aspects? Did you like, obviously, the decision making? Did you like the combat system? Because again, I really enjoyed the combat system, the different guns that you can actually choose, the weight system. Obviously, the Mass Effect series 1, 2, and 3 had different ways in which you could actually acquire gear and fine tune it. You know, in the first 1 and 2, you had kind of mini games that they sort of dealt away with in Mass Effect 3. Was that really, you know, such a big deal? You know, for example, a mini game is you have to complete circuits to, you know, sort of click on the mouse. It's like pairing two symbols up to make sure you can unlock a box or a door, for example. And was that such a big loss? I don't think so. I did love the acting. I felt was absolutely incredible. The voice acting was brilliant, in my opinion. They've actually, you know, you can tell that they've got certain specific actors and actresses. Generally, I can't fault this. You know, occasionally you could say the graphics maybe could do with a little bit of tweaking, maybe a little bit of improvement, and you're probably right. But this has been out a couple of years, or a few years now. But it's become that game where it's now slightly cheaper, and it's a game that I would suggest if you're interested in a game for the story. You know, generally as a Guild Wars 2 player, I love the story. This is a game series that you should absolutely get. The story is very, very good, and I feel that you should definitely invest your time in this. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to stop it here, and I'll just show you some of the combat and actually an idea of what the game looks like. Obviously this is Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 1 is going to be a little bit less graphically developed, because I think it came out a year or 2 years after the first Guild Wars. So that's the level of graphic content that we're talking about. Mass Effect 1 I've played for around about 12 hours. Mass Effect 2 was double that. That was like I've played for about 22 to 24 hours of Mass Effect 2, and then Mass Effect 3 is even longer. So they're long games if you're getting into them, and they're games that you can just come in and out of. So this is actually the combat that we're going to see now, and I'm hoping that this is actually going to give you kind of a good idea. Obviously, again, please bear in mind that this is Mass Effect 3, so some of the features available in Mass Effect 3 won't be in Mass Effect 2 or 1. But I wanted to give you guys an idea just so that you can see the type of action that we're talking about, and how I feel that this is definitely something that, you know, again, you can customize your character, and you can take this character, if you had it in Mass Effect 1, you can take it through, and that's what I'm going to do, take you through a character going through Mass Effect 1. So again, you've got different options, you know, you've got lots of information, and this is what the actual game looks like. So you've got fantastic scenery going on, like, you know, action going on, amazing detailing, and you can see, you know, spacebar to run. Oh, you've got a laser going down there, big explosion, and this is the graphical content. You know, again, if you want to zoom in, you can and zoom in, and then you've got this leap that's only in Mass Effect 3. There is Mass Effect 2 and 1, they don't have this. Which, you know, it kind of reminds me of Guild Wars, where, you know, for example, in Guild Wars 1, you can't jump or actual sort of, you know, run off cliffs, whereas Guild Wars 2 you kind of can. Again, you've got the ability to go up ladders, take cover, which is actually a really big part of this, kind of very similar to, obviously, how the dodge mechanic came in with Guild Wars 2. This has the ability, you know, you can dodge, so there you go, but again, it's mostly about taking cover. And again, you can move, you know, you can see that you've got these creatures coming up here, and you can fire away to kill them. So you go down the ladder, and so on, so on. So I'm hoping this has been a nice review. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail to spoil it, because I will be actually taking, you know, doing a let's play. Again, you know, we run out of ammo. Let's go in there, melee. Here we go. Oh, I'll knock him out, and then if you hold it down, yeah, gotta love that. He's dead. So there we go. Just knocked him out. So this has been Mass Effect. For me, it's a game series that I'm glad I finally got around to playing. I would highly recommend this as a series for anyone that loves story mode and loves actually playing the game. And, you know, this is a phenomenal, detailed story that has such transferable action from one game to another. It's almost like one game in itself from Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3. It just feels like one game as opposed to 3 separate ones. And that is phenomenal. For the amount of time I actually spend playing, it's been a fantastic game series. I hope you will stick with me and watch my Let's Play when that comes out. But I'd really love to hear your thoughts. You know, again, it's something, it's not like, it's not an MMO, but it's a game series that I have a lot of time for and appreciate a lot. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.